In this lecture, we'll discuss one more concept in React.js, which is props. So props is directly related to components. In the last lecture, we learned how to make components and how to reuse them. If we make components or functions, so we learned how to do it. Now, if we wanna pass the data of that function or component, how can we do it? Let's see. So components basically work like a function. In functions, we use parameters, and then we have arguments to pass the data. In React.js, we use props as an argument for the components. So let me show you in practical terms how all of this works, so that you'll have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Alright, so recall again that props are related to components. Okay, so we'll make a component in the source folder with the name user. Now our file is prepared. We'll write its boilerplate and we'll React import as we are using JSX. Okay, so after that we have to give a function name. So we'll give the function name user. This is the function we made. If you want to reuse it, then we have to export it. So we'll use export default. Since it's just a function, we used default. So here component has been created, and we can reuse it anywhere we want. Okay, so I'm adding a content in it. We'll write return keyword, the return keyword. Okay, so as I told you, if you have to use more than one element in JSX, then you have to write it in the React fragment. Okay, so I'm using two HTML elements. One will be used in H1, in which I'll write my name is John. And with that, I'll take the P tag, in which I'll write I am a front-end developer. So we are now going to export our component. We can easily reuse this component. So now we'll go back to our index.js file and we'll import the component which we had made. Okay, so we'll write import user from user, as we are in this directory. So that's why we accessed user.jsx file. So we are getting an error. We mistakenly put dots here, okay, so I just removed it. So our component has been imported. Now we'll call it and see how it shows. Okay, so we wrote it here and we save it. Now we'll go to the browser to see if it works properly. So it displays what we had in mind, but there's a complication. So, and the complication is that right now we wrote the details of just one user. If I want to have 7 or 8 different users, how it works, how can we do it? Let's see. So I'm copying it, I'm making 4 users, and as you can see the content is the same, but I want that their details should be different. I want to have like different details. So think about it for a, like, you know, try to pause and think about it. So imagine I have to create content for different users. How can I do it? Okay, so normally we create several files, but it's not effective and it's memory consuming. So we have to do it differently. If not, it will be a huge process. Okay, so I think I should do something like, for example, I can send dynamic data from the parent to the children. So basically it's our parent here, and this is its child. So it's working as a function like we use to pass data through parameters and arguments, in the same way like when we pass components through props. Okay, so we'll remove it here and we'll try to pass its arguments. Okay, so this is a user and its name is John. I'm taking another argument, expertise, and I'll write front-end developer. So this is the child and this one is its parent. Okay, so these properties are sending here, and as we are sending arguments to the child, so we have to access them as well. Otherwise we won't know, like, you know, we won't know that we are getting properties from the parent. That's why we have to access the data. Okay, so to access these properties, we will use the keyword props. That's the keyword that we'll be using. So we'll have to use it if you want to access the properties of a parent. Now we are removing it and we'll try to fetch the data dynamically. Okay, so now I'll write my name is, and I'll write props.name as a way to recall, like to use them in curly braces, okay? So I have access to properties of the parent with the help of props. Now I'm taking a p tag and I'll write I am a, and we'll write expertise, props.expertise. So as you can see, its expertise have appeared. So we have the expertise in front of us. Okay. So now I'll save it and we'll go to the browser to check the changes. The page is reloading as we did not save the file, okay? So now I've saved the file, and as you can see, the data we were sending dynamically from the parent to the child is showing in front of us. So now, if I have 3 different users, then I'll copy it and we'll paste it 3 times. And I'm changing the name to Mark and expertise to back-end developer. Okay, so here I'll change the name to Sarah and the expertise to DevOps engineer. Now, I'll save it and you will see like what happens in our browser. So as you can see in front of you, we took 3 different users and their properties have been shown in front of us. So we didn't have to make a separate boilerplate. We just made one boilerplate and input the properties with the help of props, and we access the properties like we gave access to the child through props. So React made this process for us very simple, and it made it, like easy for us that we made just one boiler and set one structure, and we put properties where we called the component. So we just have to change the property, then we can get the data dynamically. So that was it for the concept of props. I tried to simplify it and explain it in the clearest manner possible. I hope everything is crystal clear to you now. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this lecture, and now on to the next one.